So pretty much people are robots. No, I really mean that. People are robots. They think they're human, but they're really robots. And I'm not talking about anybody in particular. This is not me criticizing humanity and the attitudes that some people have. But no, what I'm saying is people are AI. Even if they're nice people, they're AI. They're robots. I would say people have been AI for a long time because most people live almost 100% according to their 3D senses, and the 3D senses are is like a false reality. And a lot of people live almost 100% according to what they see, how they feel, what they taste, and what they hear. Everything, for the most part, most people live according to 3D. So that means people have been AI for a long time because that's a false reality. You're using a different brain. You're not using your real brain. You're using the brain that you think is that's your head. A lot of people are using that brain instead of their real brain. But right now, it's gotten to a point. I said that I always sense that something happened in 2021. 2022, in February, I remember rising that morning, but my eyes were still closed. And you know how you were like still in the middle of sleeping awake, but you're still kind of awake, but your eyes, you're still at a point where you can hear, not hear, but you can see, you can still be given visions and stuff because it's almost like you're not completely, out of the sleep. And so you're still at a point where you can be given information. You know what I mean? You know how some people have to go into a trance to do things? So it's almost like you're not completely out of the sleep, so you're able to still get stuff. And I saw balloons, those New Year balloons with the year, and I saw 2021. They were gold-looking balloons, and the balloons were said 2021. You know how the years, how the balloons, you blow up a 2, you blow up a 0. The years for the new year. And I saw that it was 2021, and this was February 2022. The time had not moved. And I knew that since then. Uh, and I just sat and questioned because I know what I've been going through for the last 4 years, right? But I said, is everybody a robot? Spirit said, yeah, for the most part, everybody's a robot. Everybody's a robot. Okay, I'm talking about even spiritualists. Okay, everybody's a robot. Uh, the only people who are not a robot are the ones who are more in a love frequency. Okay. But for the most part, we know in the United States of America and around the world, most people live according to their egos, very ego driven. That means people in the United States are robots. At this time, people even when you look at the sky, I don't know when you see what you see when you look up at the sky, but where I am, what I see when I look up at the sky, the stars look different. It looked like I don't know what's up in the sky. These little machines, uh I can't even. They're not stars. They look like some kind of little ships or whatever. But they look like they could be stars, but I can tell they're not. And they have this funny shape to them. The stars don't look like what I used to see. The stars don't look like what I used to see. Okay, it have all these little funny shapes. Like I don't know what they are. And I said, this is AI world. This is AI world. Some of us still have some human left in us. Some of us have spirit left in us. But for the most part, most people, they don't have no spirit and they are no longer human. For the most part, humanity has been destroyed. Humanity has been destroyed. And I keep seeing how AI is constantly pushed down our throat. AI is constantly pushed down our throat. You barely even hear anything about a human these days. You barely hear anything about humanity these days. It's all about AI. I remember seeing during the meditation. I can't really say it's a meditation. Sometimes my eyes are closed and I just see things, right? And I saw where it was like I was looking up at the sky and it was dark and I saw the letters, capital letters, AI, like I was in an AI world. Okay, you know how, just imagine if you're on a spaceship and you're going from one planet to another planet to another planet. And then you arrive at one planet and you see the big letters, this is AI. That's what this is, it's AI. AI taking over, has taken over. People, I remember saying in 2020, I want to say it was 2020. I remember when people were talking about how the robots was going to take over all the jobs. And I said, I made a video. I said, you will be the robots. It's not any. They're not going to create any other robots, and they have the human beings just sitting at home with no job and no money, and you have some other little machines going out and doing all the work. You will be the robots, and people are robots. Not just robot, they're more like, yeah, robot too, but alien. Okay? Alien. But when you look in the mirror and when you look, everything look the same. But I've always felt that something was off. The food tastes off. I don't like the way the food tastes anymore. That's why I fast so much, because I don't see the point in eating. The food is not the same. I don't like it. But a lot of people have always complained about food in the United States of America. That it's just not good. And a lot of people prefer to grow their own food, because even when they try to pay for organic, it's still not might not be organic. But when people leave the United States of America and go somewhere else to eat, the food, according to a whole lot of people that travel, they say the food is just a lot different. So the food is just bad in the United States of America. It's just bad, you know. Uh, but it still tastes different. I remember after the lockdown, I remember distinctly the lockdown in 2020. At that time, I was living in Palm Desert and I was working in Palm Springs. And I distinctly remember the lockdown started in March and it went on for about close to a month. And after the lockdown, I remember going to Taco Bell. I hardly ever go to Taco Bell. I'm not a big, let me tell you something. Taco Bell is not really considered Mexican food, but I guess could be Mexican fast food, I guess, but it's not really, I don't consider Taco Bell to be Mexican food, but I guess it can be Mexican fast food, okay? Uh, I never go there because Mexican food is not my favorite. And I always feel bad about that because it seems like everybody just love Mexican food, and it's just really not my favorite. I can't get into Mexican food. I try so hard and I cannot do it. But anyway, I went to Taco Bell and the food tasted funny. It's almost like I tasted some kind of chemical in the food. And then I went to this place I went to Long John Silver's. I had a taste for Long John Silver's. Because in the South, I used to go to Long John Silver's with my family a lot in the South. And I would barely see it over here in the West Coast, Long John Silver's. And so I went to Long John Silver's. It was in California. I forget the name of this city. It's a little tiny, little country type of rural type of area in California. And I went to Long John Silver's. Okay, I ate the chicken, but I had that coleslaw. Now, Long John Silver's, this particular Long John Silver's, it was connected to KFC. So the coleslaw actually came from like the KFC side, right? Because it was connected to KFC. I tasted that coleslaw and I don't know what the heck was in it. I tasted nothing but chemicals. Nothing but chemicals. It tastes horrible. I tried to eat it. I said, I can't take it no more. What is in this? I taste nothing but chemicals in this food. Even when I would go to the store and maybe get stuff off the shelf, like maybe some chips or something, I taste that stuff. Like, what is that stuff that they putting in this food? Okay, and I didn't taste it until after the lockdown. Okay, right now, people are robots, but it might be pretty bad in the United States of America. But I'm gonna tell you something: people are robots everywhere. People are robots everywhere. They're not gonna just stop at United States of America, but United States of America might just be one of the worst. But people are robots everywhere. That's why when it comes to like moving somewhere, unless you're in an area that's just really, really dangerous and unbearable, you want to be somewhere safe, that's different. Like if it's just danger, then okay, well, you don't want to be here and just be in an area that's going to be a war zone. It's best to get away from the war zone, okay? But for the most part, it's all about you. It's all depends on what frequency you're in. Uh, what was I gonna say? But yeah, people are robots. My family members are. I was talking about my sister and stuff like that before a couple of times on here. She is definitely a robot. Now, of course, she still have her same human. She act human. She still got human emotions. All that stuff. But she's a robot. No spirit in her. And that's why I said I'm being protected. These people, I keep saying how they don't return my phone calls and all this stuff. I'm starting to realize I'm being protected. I'm starting to realize I'm being protected. Because where it's time for me to go, these people are not going to be able to come. These people are not going to be able to go where I'm going. So you can't, when people are not going to go where you're going, you cannot continue to be around them. And something's going to happen to split you apart because there's somewhere that you're meant to go that they can't go with you. Okay? But anyway, that is it. Now we'll talk later.